I was welcomed by my building principal, Mr. Rayberg, a guy who had the posture of a man who had broken up 3 cafeteria fights before 8:30 that morning.
Mr. Hardt, welcome. Your classroom is room 6. Now listen, this is a very tough class. Teachers before you resigned? That's how tough. So they wouldn't have to teach this group. Here's what I want you to do. Try to look capable.
Capable.
I thought to myself, I can barely work an iron.
Welcome back to Life's Learning Curve. This podcast was born out of necessity, much like the invention of the spork. Our own life stories and the undeniable quirks of the human experience. Life throws us learning curves, cringeworthy moments, and at times, a grander purpose. Want to find out how you became the person you are today? These are stories of how we became us. Let's give a roaring welcome to our host, the tech guru, digital content creator, and educator, Paul Hardt.
DeKalb, Illinois, Northern Illinois University. The corn-framed oasis where I learned 3 things. 1, how to survive on Spam, ramen, and mac and cheese. And how dangerously fast 4 years can evaporate when you're in college. For 22-year-old me, it was college graduation day at Northern Illinois University. And honestly, it felt like somebody had picked up the needle on a record I wasn't done listening to. My future was a career, not a job. Was I ready to become Mr. Hardt instead of just Paul? My dad was Mr. Hardt, right? Well, let's find out. Sebastian.
Life's Learning Curve. Episode 102. The Boy Who Became Mr. Hardt.
There I was. I was finally out of college. And, well, how did I feel? Well, I was like, welcome to your life, kid. There's no turning back. What's that tapping sound? It was adulthood. It had already started tapping its foot. So, it's actually happening. The real world, yes, no map, just debt and vague encouragement. My roommate Mike said,
Paul, you're becoming a teacher? I hope those students know your expertise in ordering late-night pizza.
welcome to your life, kid. There's no turning back. Oh, by the way, that's Tears for Fears, the band. Oh, and it's also every adult who's ever cried filing taxes.
Gross income.
That day we laughed because we were supposed to. That's what 22-year-olds do. At 22 years old, confidence is mostly posture and speaking before your brain files an objection. But walking back past the Student Center at Northern Illinois University, past the posters of Husky Pride and the smell of burnt popcorn in our apartment, something inside me felt that tug, the pull, the tug between childhood freedom and grown-up responsibility. And grown-up responsibility was winning by about half a point.
You nervous? Got any interviews lined up yet?
Yeah, I was hired at School District 300. But, nervous? Yes, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
You're with good people. Kids who will like you. I kind of wish I could stay a little longer, just one more semester.
But if you stay, you'll never move on. Then you're that weird guy still roaming the student center in his late 20s. Every college has one. Mysterious older student who somehow knows all the vending machine repair schedules.
Yikes.
And none of us want that for you.
Yeah, I guess.
I had this wild mix of excitement and dread, like Mark Twain's character. He wrote Huck Finn, shoving off on a raft he built from spare parts. Except my raft was a diploma and a half-working Toyota Celica and an emergency cassette tape of Tears for Fears, in case adulthood became emotionally aggressive, and the idea that I just might, be a halfway decent teacher. Driving out of DeKalb, past the cornfields, past the place that held my best friends, my mistakes, plenty of those, and my half-baked dreams, it hit me, and it hit me hard. I was leaving behind the last place where life still felt like, it still felt like recess. That day in my car, I thought out loud.
I created this future for myself. I don't know. Why does growing up feel like a dare?
It wasn't long before I found myself moving back into my childhood home. I thought how funny it was how an 80s pop song lyric can play and replay in your head while you're standing on the cliff of adulthood. I kept replaying, "There's no turning back, even while we sleep. Everybody wants to rule the world." Yeah, that was the lyric. Once back home, I heard my mom calling me from the hallway.
"Paul, did you pack the iron? You'll need it for your work clothes."
"I've got your favorite sweatshirts here."
And just like that, Huck Finn got parented. Nothing crushes a rugged independence faster than hearing, "Did you remember your socks?" Because, here I was, half boy, half man, caught between wanting permission and wanting independence. I think we've all been there. Now that night I found it kind of ironic, but because before I went to bed, before I left for my teaching job in the morning on my first day, I spent one last night in my childhood room, my launch pad, my hideout when I was a kid, my museum of everything I used to be. The room hadn't changed much, as if it were politely waiting for me to come back and explain where I'd been. The posters on the wall, they were like old friends who hadn't heard, that I'd grown up.
"Paul's back." "Welcome back, Paul."
My Chicago Cubs pennant, a little sun-faded, stubbornly optimistic, a perfect match for teenage me. Next to it hung my Batman TV Guide cover, taped up crookedly since 7th grade, when I swore Adam West taught me everything there was to know about life. Everything. That it was glib, it was ironic, and full of campy, comedic moments. And that adulthood required confidence, timing, and eyebrows capable of carrying an entire scene. Remember, he wore a mask, and his eyebrows were covered. My Huckleberry Hound stuffed animal, blue dog, red bow tie, that lazy grin that taught me early on that you didn't have to be loud to be funny. You just had to be you. Yep, I was sleeping once again in my childhood room while planning a grown-up life. Freedom tugging one sleeve, responsibility tugging the other sleeve. Soon, I drifted off to sleep. And then the day came, alarm clock. Up and at 'em, my first day of teaching. Out the door, the drive to that first teaching job felt like crossing a state line in my soul. I kept thinking about that line from the song, "It's my own design, it's my own remorse." And let me tell you, it makes you question your design.
Why?
Like staring into an unknown on Route 25 at 6 a.m. in the morning, with only AM radio and a granola bar that tasted faintly of drywall, if I remember right. You ever had one of those things that tasted like drywall?
Cardboard.
As I drove, I was thinking aloud, who decided I was ready for all this? Do you think the kids will know, my students will know I still eat Pop-Tarts for dinner? Now, when I pulled into the school parking lot, the building looked huge to me. Older than my fears, but sturdier than my confidence. A squat brick building with a flagpole that squeaked like it was complaining, and I sat there holding the steering wheel while kids walked past my car carrying trapper keepers and brown paper lunch bags. And I remember thinking, One of these people is apparently expecting me to know what I'm doing. And there I was, Paul Hardt, soon to be Mr. Hardt.
Mr. Hardt.
NIU graduate, new teacher. I had started grad school already previously in the summer, but still unqualified feeling. And you know, whenever adults fully feel completely unqualified, the brain does something fascinating. It immediately replays every humiliating moment you've ever survived. And standing there in that school hallway, I suddenly remembered one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire college life. Now, not a big dramatic embarrassment, not wreck the car type embarrassment. No, it's the kind that wakes you up randomly at 2:14 in the morning for the next 40 years. See, a few months ago when I was still attending college, prior to graduation, I was about ready to present to my speech class at Northern Illinois University. Had to take speech. Now understand something here. At 22 years old, I believed I possessed what can be described as moderate television charisma. No, I thought this. I hadn't seen it, but I thought this, which is dangerous because moderate charisma convinces you to do or to attempt things that your skill level hasn't really approved yet. Well, one day, so we have to give this speech, and I had to give this dramatic reading in front of the class, my speech class, and I decided, for reasons totally unknown to science or whatever, that I would perform mine with intensity.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. I walked at the front of the class like I was accepting an Academy Award. Oh, I had no justification for being this way. I hadn't acted, I hadn't done anything remotely like this before. I just decided I could do it. Sometimes that's the best way to do anything. Just step up and do it. And for me, it didn't work this time. So I adjusted the microphone, I paused dramatically, looked out at my group, and then began reading the serious passage like I was starring in some low-budget detective movie at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. The night was cold, and somewhere, danger waited. Right then, my chair squeaked that I was sitting in up front. Not a normal squeak. This thing sounded like a frightened goose being attacked in a tool shed. The entire room exploded into laughter, and it wasn't polite laughter either. Real laughter. You know, the kind where kids are laughing so hard they're bending over. Somebody snorted as they laughed, and then people laughed more, and because panic destroys judgment, I tried to recover by staying in character. A great idea.
The sound of danger had revealed itself.
Which somehow made it worse, and now people were crying, laughing. One girl literally slid halfway out of her chair. And for one absolutely endless moment, I stood there realizing two things simultaneously. One, I was not nearly as good as I had believed. True. And two, humiliation does not actually kill you, it just rents space in your brain forever, including the unmistakable scent of, these things stay in your head as well, chalk dust, floor wax smell, and institutional pizza, the stuff you have at school, apparently engineered during the Cold War. Now the funny thing is, standing there in my new school's lobby on that first day, I suddenly became grateful for moments like that in speech class because embarrassment has a way of sanding down your ego. And maybe that's good for teachers because if you can survive public humiliation at 22, you can survive just about any classroom situation that's thrown at you. Imposter in a grown-up costume. I learned quickly that fluorescent lighting and school hallway smell have remained scientifically unchanged since about 1963. I was welcomed by my building principal, Mr. Rayberg, a guy who had the posture of a man who had broken up 3 cafeteria fights before 8:30 that morning.
Mr. Hardt, welcome.
Thank you.
Your classroom is room 6.
Room 6. Yes, this would be the place. The place which, within that first school year, I would sit in one of the tiny student desks while I was teaching and get stuck. A place where I would confidently teach, rocking on my heels as I unknowingly had my zipper open. A place I mistakenly called a student by the wrong name for at least 3/4 of the year, and they were too afraid to tell me.
Now listen, this is a very tough class. Teachers before you resigned? That's how tough. So they wouldn't have to teach this group. Here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
Try to look capable.
Capable.
I thought to myself, I can barely work an iron. On the first day, the first comment came from a boy in the first row.
Is he new? He looks new. Is this a teacher? Or a very tired exchange student? He looks nervous.
That's enough. Here's the thing. Inside that classroom, I felt like a kid in a suit borrowed from his dad. Well, that was accurate, but so there was chalk, there was a grade book, and the unmistakable smell of industrial floor wax, and quiet emotional damage just lingered in the room. 29 adolescent students staring at me there like I was the substitute for adulthood. I'm pretty sure I looked like somebody who'd accidentally wandered into the parent-teacher conference room looking for the bathroom.
Does he even shave?
In fairness, I didn't entirely even know yet.
He looks younger than me.
Settle down. But then something happened. A small girl, quiet, sat there with her hands folded on her desk. Well, she looked up at me, almost as nervous as I was.
Are you our new teacher?
I smiled.
Let me see. Your name tag says Dory. Right? Yeah. And hey, Dory, we'll conquer this new school year together, okay?
Which in teacher language meant, let's both try not to cry before lunch. And just like that, that classroom, room 6, became the first place where I felt needed. Those kids didn't want to rule the world. They just wanted someone to show them how not to be afraid of it. And in teaching them, I realized truth pretty quickly. And the truth was, I was teaching myself, too. See, I still had Batman on my wall back at home, and a teacher's edition math book in my trunk. A little bit of each. And yes, just like that, DeKalb, college wasn't gone. It had followed me. Late night talks, the friends who pushed me, the professors who believed in me, my parents. Yeah, they all seemed to be in that room with me, room 6, standing there off to the side, quietly backing me up. For me, I gotta tell you, there were many late nights at school that first year of teaching, papers being graded under a dim, buzzing desk lamp that couldn't seem to stop flickering. I could have gotten a new bulb. I admit, I didn't. Every first-year teacher develops the same expression, eventually part educator, part raccoon searching through emotional garbage. And let me tell you, every new adult has a defining moment. And mine came while grading essays that smelled vaguely of cafeteria pizza loaf. One essay. It was Dory's, the little girl.
My dream is to try things even if I'm scared. Because that's as when people grow. People get better.
After reading that, I looked up and just stared in Suddenly, my terrifying first year of teaching became very clear. These kids weren't expecting perfection. Which is lucky for me because they were getting me. I thought,
Yeah, Dory. Good, that's exactly it.
exactly. Well, that was it. That was my turning point. My raft had finally caught the current. Childhood had faded, but something new, something good was beginning.
Something great.
I heard my classroom door open and I heard familiar voices. It was my roommates from college. It was Mike and Steve, my ex-roommates, I should say.
What are you guys doing here? Well, we thought you might still be here. We all were sitting at TJ's pub and talking about our golden years, and we missed you. Hey, after all, it's progressive beer night.
Progressive beer night meant the longer you stayed, the cheaper the beer got and the worse your decisions became.
But look at you! You're sitting here, being all responsible and everything.
Steve, Mike, guess what? This feels right for me. It feels like what I'm supposed to do.
Look at you! Ruling your domain. Or whatever.
I wasn't, though, ruling my domain. It wasn't even close, but for the first time, I didn't feel like I had to. I just wanted to help a few kids navigate better on their own. I seemed to be in that place in life where childhood and adulthood shake hands and say,
Giddy up.
all right, let's get on with it. So what did I learn from all of this? Very intense memory in my life, what I told you today. It's that change component that you have in your life where you go from basically going to school since kindergarten and through college you're doing about the same thing. And then you commit to life and a career. So what did I learn? NIU college life really didn't fade. It just vanished slowly behind me. It became the foundation, the raft, the compass, the steadying hand on my shoulder, guiding me into classrooms, into new people, into careers, into the next unknown of my life. And growing up, it's not turning your back on your youth. Oh, don't do that. It's carrying it with you so you can help someone else through theirs. You can't lose your perspective from youth, because if you do, you may become that old stuffy teacher before your time. The kind who thinks overhead projectors are pretty cutting-edge technology. Yeah. So, well, adulthood didn't arrive with fanfare. No orchestra, no fireworks, just paperwork. Plenty of paperwork. A lot of paperwork. There was paperwork. It came quietly. Remember the buzz of the fluorescent lights? Growing up isn't turning your back on the freedom of childhood. Not at all. It's using what childhood taught you to face what comes next.
Everything else.
For Life's Learning Curve, I'm Paul Hardt. Subscribe to Life's Learning Curve at lifeslearningcurve.org and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Podchaser.
This Season 8 episode of Life's Learning Curve was produced by Sebastian T., Dog, and Paul Hardt. Find us just about everywhere podcasts are heard. Visit our website, lifeslearningcurve.org. While you're there, subscribe. We'd love to have you aboard. This episode has imaginative voice creations. To protect the privacy of others, some names have been changed and characters conflated. Episode 102, The Boy Who Became Mr. Hardt. For more true stories from our life's archives, you'll find us again right here. on life's learning curve. We're clear.